Colin, you may or may not know have the answer to this, but modular homes. Can you get mortgages on modular homes?
You can, but I'll tell you, it's very tricky.
Yeah.
Not a lot of lenders offer modular homes because just like a vehicle, it's almost looked at as a depreciating. What if I
have a property that has land in the back that's got enough equity where I refi up to 80% of value, borrow some of the equity out of the home to purchase a modular home to add to the back of the home as a ADU? I guess that would be a way to do it.
Yeah, so I actually just came across that situation last week. We're trying to find out how that's going to play out. But most modular homes, you'll find them in like a community park where the land is leased. So you never actually own the land that you're basically living on. You constantly have to pay rent for it.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of why other lenders won't borrow on modular homes. But RBC is one of the notorious ones. But yeah, we're starting to see all different sorts of ideas, strategies, because affordability is really tough right now. The government's trying to help out with immigration numbers, but then we obviously just saw the election last week, 2 weeks ago, and moving to Canada was one of the top Google searches.
Yeah.
So I always tell clients, things can change at any moment. You kind of have to focus on yourself and what's best for you and your family. So.
Okay, so modular homes are slowly becoming a thing. It's just how to finance them. You can't just go and get a straight up mortgage necessarily on a modular home, but if you're using equity from a home that already exists, you can maybe borrow that equity to finance a modular home to add as an ADU to the back.
And the biggest thing with ADUs is if it's permanently affixed to the land or if it can be moved. Because we're starting to see a lot more prefabricated homes where they're basically built, like Home Depot is starting to sell them, and then you plop them on a foundation on your backyard and then off you go.
And that's looked at as not good, or?
Yeah, it's being considered.
It's being considered.
There's a lot more considerations like
for a prefab home.
Yeah.
And are these being prefabbed strictly for main primary residence or more for like ADU type
both
applications?
And like families are growing. You're seeing a lot of divorced households where there's more kids typically. And
it's not a bad way to go. Like if I could just pick up a prefab and drop it on the back of my property to add another $1,200 to $1,500 a month in rent, they're probably pretty nice. Like some of the ones I'm looking here are like 1,200 square feet, 1,300
and it's got everything you need, like little kitchenette, bathroom.
Like 1,200 square feet is more than a lot of like your
regular
ranches.
homes,
Like a lot of ranches are 900 to 1,000 square feet, right? So you wouldn't even, an ADU is supposed to be less than the footprint of the home. So some of these would actually be too big to qualify for. But it's also something to consider if you found something that needs almost too much work to knock it down and just put a prefab home on there. And if the prefab home costs, $100,000 rather than a new construction, it may be an alternative for some people to tear down wartime homes, put a prefab, which a prefab is really just a new wartime style home. But now you have something that's turnkey and it might be a lot more affordable than fixing up the one that's existing there.
Well, I saw a post the other day too. It's I'm not sure if it was just millennials, but I think it was. Millennials want turnkey. They don't have the time for the maintenance. They've seen their parents go through the renovations, the cost, the time, the effort. So, but with their budget, it's hard to get that.
Yeah.
People keep shopping. It's hard to get new construction. So,
and I feel like that's so typical of, and I'm speaking to my generation, but like it is so typical of that kind of instant gratification, right? That instant, like, want a house, move in, it's turnkey, I'm ready to roll. But there's trade-offs to doing both. One, you got to kind of start a project. The other, you're going to pay for it, right? So, I mean, there's really no wrong way to go there, but that is not super surprising to hear that the generation outcoming, including my own, is not really a huge fan of home renovations. Not to mention our trades are way down too, right? So you have less electricians and carpenters and things like that. So a lot of less, people who actually know what they're doing, including myself. Like if I had to go in and rewire a house, I mean, you could pick up anyone off the street and they might know more than me. So I mean, it's interesting times for sure.